you guys love story time, so I hope me sounding like a fucking whore this episode. I went on this date and this date and this date. Play your cards right and you actually might get laid on a first date.
Chemical X.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Chemical X podcast. You must be wondering why I'm so amazing and tanned and looking like Rosalina. My name's Alessia.
My name's Veronica. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and leave us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and pretty much all the audio platforms. So I just want to start off by giving a very big congratulations to Alessia and I, who are clearly engaged right now.
I mean, we are to this business.
Oh, we are married to the money.
Yeah.
Maybe not married to the money. Married to the hustle. But we look like we're about to go on a little bachelorette party. So honestly, I want to talk about something. We always get comments on TikTok, on YouTube about like our outfits, about how we look and shit like that. Like all the time. Like no matter what I wear and everything. And on one of the videos... Excuse me. On one of the videos, somebody commented like, well, with an outfit like that and her hair like that, what does she expect? And I was like, hair like that? Like... My hair was just curly.
Was it about you or me?
It was about me.
Because I get them too.
But I never got a one about my hair. I was like, excuse me? Like, I get the outfits, like, okay, but like,
you know
what did my hair ever do? What is my hair doing wrong? What is my hair doing wrong? And I think it was
also
like the situation.
What is your outfit doing wrong? Like if we're getting into it, like
no.
It really bothers me though when people come at us for our outfits because we like aesthetically pleasing sets and we try and match and we do cute things,
cute outfits.
It like bothers me because like if you look at the average podcast, they're normally like not as dressed up, but like we're out here just trying to be ourselves. I think if anything, like we like this shit. We like to dress up. We like to look good. So it just annoys me when people come at us. Why do I gotta be like everybody else, you know?
Well, like just
also
think
we graduated in fashion. So like it's so ugly when I say that. But like,
wow.
I mean, we both did.
I mean... Fashion police.
Yeah.
But I just think when people comment on like your appearance, it's because they have nothing else to say. So I'm just like, so you agree with what I'm saying then? If you're commenting on my outfit, you agree with what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
You know that what's coming out of my mouth is facts. So yeah, my outfit is so slutty.
And your hair is so done.
Oh, with hair like that, for sure she's getting cheated on. Shut the fuck. Shut your mouth.
Shouldn't it be like because you do your hair and because you take care of yourself, you get cheated on less? I don't know. That would just be my
it's you know what
theory
I was thinking
on that.
about? I was thinking about in the shower, as one does.
Well, yeah, where the best thoughts come.
100%. I was thinking about how men always say like they don't want a girl who's vain. And they don't want a girl who like really cares about her appearance and all that stuff.
We speak about this.
Yeah, and like they want someone who like doesn't really care and is not like so into her appearance and vain. And then I was like, it's so funny because I feel like those same men are the ones who complain like you don't take care of yourself anymore. You let yourself go. Like I'm not attracted to you anymore because like you don't put effort into your appearance. And I'm like, so what is it that you want? Do you want a girl who's vain and actually cares about her appearance? Or do you want somebody who doesn't value that and values other things, but then in time, that person, that will obviously reflect on how they look? You know what I mean? Like as someone ages, if you're not someone who cares about appearances, you're obviously gonna, not upkeep what you looked like when you were young. So it's just so funny to think like, I feel like a lot of times like men blame the woman for getting cheated on because they're like, oh, well, you don't like take care of yourself anymore and like you don't put effort and like
and
the
then
way
it's
you
like
look.
if you do, then you're a whore and like you're attention seeking for men's approval. But
you're
it's like
a slut, you're objectifying yourself, but then you're complaining because
like,
your girl doesn't do it.
I get dressed. I can't even tell you for myself. It's like if I'm feeling shitty and I get dressed, I literally feel better about myself when I look better.
Absolutely.
And if anything, and if I'm trying to impress anyone, I promise you it's more women than men. Like I want a girl to meet me in the bathroom and be like, babe, I love your outfit. Because I know it's genuine. I know that like the girl will have style and like appreciate that it's nice. When it comes from a guy, they just say you look sexy, but do they really understand the outfit? Do they really feel you 100 like a girl? No. So I'm not dressing for you, men. We are not dressing for men.
I promise you, if I was dressing for men, I'd still be in skinny jeans, 6-inch block heels from 2011, and a simple black tank top. that's what I would be wearing if I was dressing for men. And I promise you, that's not what I wear. So no stress, guys. Not dressing for you.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. You guys always tell us you want story times. Do they not?
They do.
They do. So we figured we were gonna talk about a little story called dating. Woo! Something we talk about all the time. So I was recently in LA, traveling solo. So I had went for work to South Carolina because I was hosting an XMMA. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's martial arts. So I was just asking the fighters questions, but it was nothing about like, you know, having to know about the fights. Yeah. But it was just more to throw them off and just ask them relationship questions. Is your girlfriend here? How does she feel about ring girls? Like really like not your average questions. Like I was there to stir up shit and just like make it like TikTok viral and just kind of make it fun, not about fighting.
Right.
So that's what I was doing in South Carolina.
So I'm all about signs, and my favorite sign when I'm looking to make a decision is my angel number, my lucky number, 11, 111, 1111. You know, I look for the ones. So when people are also looking for a sign in me, I like to let them know that it's right here. And that's why I keep my lucky number right on my chest. So if somebody's not sure about me, I'm just giving them the sign right there, and I'm saying, baby, what are the chances? It's clearly a coincidence because I'm giving you the sign that you need me. So guys, if you want to give a sign off to the people that are looking for them, get yourself an angel number necklace so that, you know, they know exactly which decision to make.
I feel like that goes two ways. They see that and they go, oh God, she's a horoscope girl. Like she's going to be trouble. Forget about it. But in this case, it's not because, yes, you're amazing. So if you also feel like Veronica, then you need to head on to Every Jewels and use our discount code ChemicalX at checkout to receive 20% off your entire order. And that includes the flip-flop she's wearing right now. Lift it up.
The sign is to be happy here.
So head on to Every Jewels and use our discount code ChemicalX at checkout for 20% off. And then afterwards, my boss and everyone who was there was like, we're probably going to do like Vegas or Miami. So I had brought in my luggage, you know, as one does, clothes for South Carolina, and then also like going to Vegas afterwards.
Right.
And then I wanted to also, after Vegas, go to LA because
you have a sick life.
Baby, stick around me.
Well, it's sounding like the craziest life I've ever heard.
Anyway, so after South Carolina.
How long were you gone for?
2 weeks.
No, you're making it sound like you were gone for a month.
So after South Carolina, Vegas didn't end up happening, and Miami. So I was just like, I had in my mind already that I was going to go to LA after Vegas. So regardless, I was just like, I'm going to take a flight earlier and go spend some time in LA. My first experience in LA, I didn't love. Mm-hmm. So I just felt like I needed to just like one up it. Go again. I feel like a lot of people say, you've said this, that like you never really like LA on your first time. Mm-hmm. Didn't love it. So I was like, okay, let me go back. And traveling alone, it's really like, I had a couple friends that I knew that were there and like, you know, Raya dates that I was excited to go on. So I was like, okay, it should be fun. But like, you never really like realize when you're alone, but you're so in your thoughts. I feel like I came back like a different person only in 2 weeks. It's like you're by yourself, right? Yeah. So like anyone you talk to, anything you do, it's like you're really putting yourself out there. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really healthy and I needed it. So it was really nice, honestly.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
But it's really good to do things alone sometimes and to just get out of your comfort zone and be around the people you want to be around, do the things you want to do.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the times in life, we always feel like we're not doing enough. So like whether it be going on a trip, we feel like I got to do the most while I'm here. And I feel like this trip, because I was alone and because I was just like in my thoughts, I was kind of just like doing everything I wanted to do and just like relaxing, tanning. I was trying not to be that girl who's like trying to do so much because I feel like we're unhappy when we try and jam in too many things.
For sure. And I think when you travel with people, you get in that vibe because you don't want to be boring. You feel like the pressure to like, also, I guess I feel this pressure is like to make sure everyone else is having fun too. And like, if I'm not doing something, then I feel like it affects the group. And it's very hard to just do your own thing and just chill when you're when you're on vacation with other people. So you feel the need to be like, go, like how much stuff can we do? And I totally get you. Like I'm going to Miami for a convention and I was honestly like, you know what? Like I've seen Miami. I've done Miami. Like, I really just want, like, in between the days that we're not going to the convention, I just want to chill. Like, I just want to go by the beach. I don't feel like doing 50 things a day, going to the restaurant, going out, trying to see all the people that I can see. Like, you know what? Fuck that. No. Yeah. It's too hard. No.
Yeah. My first time in LA, may I just add, your sister was single. I had went to LA to meet her. So she like threw me in the scene. So we all know about like, you know, when you get thrown in a scene and it's your first time there, you kind of feel like, what is life? Like, you feel like everyone there is kind of like pretentious and like trying to make it and be someone they're not. And I feel like it's like a broad statement to be like, everyone in LA is fake. It's like, it's really about also who you surround yourself. In every city, there's always going to be people that like you don't vibe with as much. Yeah. So I feel like I really saw a different side this side because I did it my way. There was a guy I was talking to that I was like, okay, like while I'm there, I'll see him. I'll see the vibes. We like FaceTimed a couple times. We were like definitely chatting before I got to LA. So I was kind of like really excited to meet him. And then I met him and like, we'll get into the whole story of that, but it was just like so traumatizing, honestly. It was really like, I think one of my worst dates. Oh, like, right? Yeah. To date. Yeah. Like to date, one
just
of my...
in general, not even for you, just a really bad date.
And I think for me, like, not that I give off like high standard energy, but like for me to get stuck in that, like I was just like, how did this happen to me? You know? So the guy I was talking to, basically I get to LA and it happens to be his birthday weekend. So he was like, look, like I'm going out with my friends on Saturday, but I'd love for you to like join. Like we're planning on doing like dinner and bowling. So I was like, okay, like...
Wait, he's turning 8 years old?
33, but anyway.
Bowling on your birthday?
But then I'm like, you know what? It's a fun activity. Like, it's not like we're not doing dinner.
No, bowling is sick, but on your birthday?
Listen.
Did you bring your party hat?
Did I bring my bowling shoes? Imagine already how hard it is to come up with an outfit when you're going on a date, let alone one that has to go with bowling shoes.
Oh my God.
What the hell? Do I wear heels? Do I wear sneakers? Because, you know, also outfits in LA, it's very like... Anyway,
no one dresses in
I don't
LA.
know.
Everyone's
like,
in joggers.
I don't know who I am in LA, honestly.
I literally bring a simple t-shirt and jeans, and that's the whole thing. That's what I'm wearing every day in LA.
And like I brought like summer dresses and stuff, so I was really trying to work cooler outfits with like, anyway, whatever. So he tells me on Saturday, like, do you want to do that? And I was like, yeah, you know what, like, fun. It's a bit weird, like I'm meeting you for the first time, we've been chatting for some time, and like I'm being thrown in the mix with your friends, like but then he calls me and he's like, look, like I was thinking of picking you up a little bit earlier. Like we can go for a drink just to like get to know each other before like you come out and meet all my friends. And I was like, safe. Like I felt so much better after he told me that.
Yeah, which is like a nice thing to do.
Right. And then as the day's going by, I'm getting ready a little bit earlier because I know he's picking me up before the dinner. So I'm like getting ready. And then he tells me like I'm running late. Then it turns out like he cancels on the pre-drinks. And now we're going straight to the dinner. This is where the issue started, okay?
So before the date even started.
Before the date even started, he calls me and he's like, so like how far is your place from this restaurant? Because this is where we're going. And I was like, well, is it in West Hollywood? Because that's where I was staying. And he's like, yeah. So I'm like, oh, it's about like 7 minutes. Like, you live here, not me. Like, why are you asking me that? Just say if you don't want to pick me up, just straight up say that at that point, you know? Yeah. Like, I hate people who beat around the bush just to be like classier. Yeah. I'm 7 minutes away from the fucking restaurant. I don't care how late you are. Pick me the fuck up. Are you joking? Or send me an Uber. Right. Right? Yeah. So he was like, do you think you can Uber it to the restaurant? And like you sensed for sure my coldness on the phone. Like I was just like, I guess. Yeah. He's like, it's because like I could pick you up, but then like there's never parking on that strip. Like it's super busy. So I was just thinking, you know, it's gonna be easier if you just met me there. So I was like, okay, so why aren't you sending me an Uber? It's little things, guys. It's little things. So I was like, red flag that he didn't want to pick me up. Then he goes, actually, what if I left my car at the valet at your hotel? So I'm like, yeah, you could. He's like, do you think it would be expensive? Like what, like how much do you think it would be if I left my car there? And now I'm like, oh my God, we're talking about money already? Yeah. I'm like,
you didn't even meet him in real.
You didn't even meet me. You're not even
pick up the phone and call the hotel if you really want to know.
right?
Like
no shame. It became like, can you find out, see if it's like because like I'm a guest and you're staying there, maybe it's free. And I was like, I've had a panic attack.
Yeah.
Guys, I hang up with him. And I'm already at this point, I'm like, Alessia, why are you going? You don't feel right about this. This is not somebody you will ever date. Like, this is not like your energy, your vibes. Like,
no.
I'm a gold digger. Come on, you can't even pay for parking. No kidding. But like, there's fucking standards.
Yeah.
So guys, I call the reception and I'm like, hi, just wondering, because the guy I'm going on a date with is fucking cheap. How much is it to valet the car here if I'm staying here? You know what she tells me? She goes, so it's $22 for 2 hours. Every 15 extra minutes, it's $2. And then it's $60 max for the entire day. What do you want me to call him and say that? Even me texting, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
I just called him and I'm like, it's $60 to park here. And he's like, oh yeah, that's too expensive. It's fine. I'll just find parking in the streets. And I was just like.
But what did he think? Like, first of all, everyone knows parking in LA is like seriously expensive. So I'm not really sure what he thought it would be.
No,
to
he
even
said
bring
that's
up the
standard,
idea.
but like I'm not basically.
Yeah. So like, why, if you know that that's standard, why are you even making you go and call the hotel to find out?
This
just
story,
like weird.
this story almost sounds made up because it's just like, why would anyone do that?
Yeah.
If I was going and meet a girlfriend, I wouldn't even tell her that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so weird. Like, pay the fucking whatever it is. Like, I just can't. I can't with people who are like cheap like that. People who are cheap in that aspect in life are going to be cheap with you and cheap with their time. Like, I was just like, this is not a thing. But then that's the part where like I should have been like, Alessia, you're no longer going.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm mad at myself because I had this plan. It was like a buildup of meeting each other. So I was just like, I'm still going to go. And I think going forward now, I'm not going. I don't care. I'm not wasting my time. I'm not going. Like, I should have never went.
Yeah, but you
These
can't
flags that
say
happen are, but then I have a friend who lives in LA and he was like, look, the thing that he did was fucked up. The only thing I'll say, he's like, girls in LA could be weird about that. Sometimes they think it, like, they take it offensive if like you want to pick them up because they're like, I'll meet you there type thing.
Yeah.
Like, I get that, but I guess being Canadian or like the way I am, it's like, pick me up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, the reason why I think it's fine that you still went is because it's obviously seems like a big red flag at the end of the story once you go through the end of the story, but at the beginning you're just like, okay, like very annoying, like weird vibes, but like it's still not enough for you to be like, we've been talking and we had good vibes to throw that away. So I think even if you wouldn't have went, you maybe would have felt like, fuck, like what, maybe it was just like a misunderstanding and maybe we could have hit it off. So sometimes I think it's better to see things through and be like, wow, this really wasn't for me. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but I disagree. Like, from just like what's happened, like people say you see the red flags at the beginning. The red flags were there. Why are we entertaining something that if there's red flags this soon on, like why even put myself through that? So like I hear what you're saying and that's kind of what I did, but I'm like, realistically, like it's only, how can it get better after that if you couldn't even pick me up? You could have picked me up even if you were stressed about parking, drop me off in front, but then it's like you didn't want me stuck with his friends. I think he had a lot of anxiety too about meeting me, which is like I get, but I'm sorry, like there's no class in that. There's no class in that. So then I get on the date and then there's a couple of his friends, his brother there, and then another one of his best friends had brought a girl from Raya. So she actually happened to be from Montreal, which is so wild to me because it's like, what are the chances? And I've never met her before. She lives here, but like I've never met her. So I just felt like we bonded. We had the same bag in a different color. Like we just like hit it off. So like I immediately like gravitated towards her. Her guy actually happened to be Canadian. And he was so classy, so nice, so respectful. And this is when things started going south when I met my guy. So he was like, wow, like you're so pretty. Like I didn't expect, you know, like when it almost becomes like insulting. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't expect you to be pretty. Sorry.
Like he's like, he's like, you're prettier in person type thing.
Right.
And I was like, I get it. Like, if I was trying to be a model, it's like you want to be prettier in your pics, but like, also like it's insulting.
But just don't say that.
Yeah, like
That's
he was just like,
just
wow, like, wow. Yeah. And then he's like, wow, like all my friends are saying like you're the prettier one of the two. I was just like, that shit is mean. It's very like,
giving you validation that it's like, why are you trying
to validate? You can just say like you look sexy and that's it.
Yeah, like why do I have to be prettier than her? Like
I didn't like the vibe of that. Like bringing somebody else down to make me feel better. These were all red flags for me. I was like, that girl is gorgeous. Like, please stop.
Yeah.
So then whatever, it takes a long time for our table to be ready. So the owner had come and just said, entrees and dessert are on us. We want to apologize for, your table taking so long. So then I hear him go, yes. Okay, guys, everyone order an entree. Okay, we're going to order every single entree. And I was like, I wanted to croak because I knew what was coming out of this.
Yeah.
Because somebody like that is like, I'm going to deal with the consequences if not everything is going to be comped. Like, I'm going to fight my rights after. Yeah. But, like, let's just act in denial and let's just order a bunch. Because realistically, no restaurant is just going to comp every single entree. Okay, a couple and dessert fair.
Yeah.
To say, like, I'm sorry your table took so long. But, like, also don't abuse, right?
Just disrespectful.
Disrespectful and, like, just giving me very cheap vibes. Which, again, just ties into everything that I've been feeling before I went. I feel like he had a little bit of a front. You know when someone jokes around too much that it's like at some point, like, can you actually be serious? Like, who are you really, though? Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, it's even like when you ask somebody like, oh, what do you do for work? And they like make jokes about what they do or whatever. It's because, they're like insecure about it or like they don't want to dive into it because they're insecure in them.
They're just not confident.
They're not confident in what they're doing in themselves or like if you'll judge them for it or whatever. So there's a lot of like that going on. So I felt like, who are you really? So I was getting that vibe. And then the bill comes, okay? The bill fucking comes and he's like, let me see the bill. I want to make sure like they comped our entrees. And then he looks at the bill and he's like, sorry, I'm going to get up. I gotta speak to him. And like, no shame, guys. And at this point, by the way, I only had one drink because he never asked me if I want another drink. The waiter did take a long time, but I was like, and he even said like, wow, you really sipped that drink quickly. It's like, now you're trying to make me seem to be an alcoholic. Like, I need 35 with how you're dealing with stuff. Like, I can't even, but like anyway.
Yeah. Just
like a mess. And in all this, I'm sitting next to the Canadian and the Montreal girl who are so chill. I was just like, can I turn my table and just join you guys and just like, fuck this guy to my right? Like, I can't. The bill comes and he looks at it and he gets up and he's like, I need to speak to the manager. And like, he gets up to do it, but he's still like 2 meters away from us. So I hear the entire conversation. At this point, I'm so dry. I'm like, I don't even know how you get laid.
Yeah.
I don't even know how this happens. So he's arguing his rights. And then the guy's like, yes, like I took off like 3 of the entrees, but I couldn't take everything off, which is completely like understandable,
Absolutely.
Completely like, right?
Well, he knew in ordering them all, like realistically,
because you said that at the beginning. You said like, okay, let's order a bunch.
Like you knew you weren't going to get them all.
Yeah.
Like,
you knew you were going to fight your rights.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's fighting with them and then he's just fighting until like the waiter takes off all the entrees. I'm like, I even made a comment at the beginning. I was like, by the way, like if you're going to argue with the waiter, like just let me know because I'm going to go to the bathroom because this shit gives me like anxiety.
Yeah.
Like straight up, no bullshit. And the 2 people next to me were like, the Canadian, I remember him being like to the friend, because it's like, you're embarrassing now, like everyone. Because if you're friends or like at this dinner table, it kind of puts you in that same light, thinking like that's how you are too. So he was like to the guy, like I didn't expect him to take off all the entrees. Like I have no problem paying for the entrees, the Canadian. And I was like, oh my god, he's so normal compared to him. And he's like, don't worry, I got this. Like I'm gonna get it cleared. So after arguing for so long, leaving his girl who's never gonna sleep with him behind, I was just like, I can't do this. He ended up arguing so much that we ended up missing bowling. So it's like, fight for what at the end of the day? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, fight for what? So we ended up missing bowling. So now we're going to a club now after this. So it's like, obviously we're not going to take out the rest of the food to go. No. He asked for a doggy bag. He wanted to bring back all the food. And I was like, but aren't we going to a club? He's like, so I'll put it in my car. So he took every single person's pizza, to the point of even his dessert, okay? Everything was packed up. I swear to God, everything was packed up. And I was just like,
Especially not when you're going somewhere after, but a first date, a group of people. I'm sorry. Are
The
you
dessert got
crazy?
packed up too.
First of all, I've never packed up a dessert in my life. I've never doggy bagged it. That's like saying I'll take the drink to go.
I couldn't even believe my eyes, honestly. I've never in my life experienced anything remotely as bad as this. Like,
Yeah.
this almost felt like I went on a date and the guy said split into, by the way, it's never happened to me, but like, it almost felt like that energy of,
I actually think this is worse.
so yeah, so I was just like super turned off after that. And, you know, I'm in heels and a dress and it's kind of cold in LA. So he was like, okay, well, we're just gonna walk 2 blocks to my car and then we'll go to the place. He's like, Alessia, do you want to come with me? And I was like, well, and then the Canadian kind of noticed, like, I'm in heels, I'm in a short dress, it's cold outside, like, you know, maybe can you just bring the car for the girls? Like, they're in heels and it's just gonna be like easier. And like, even that seemed a little bit of a problem, like as if like bring the fucking car in front, or I'm going to just take an Uber, you know? And then he was like, the Canadian was just like, I'll take an Uber with them and we'll meet you there. Whatever. Anyways, finally, then he ended up getting the car and coming in front to get us like a normal person would.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds so crazy to me that these things can still happen and guys can still act this way. Like, it blows my mind.
No, it's insane.
Like,
it's free.
The
It's free
effort
to walk and
women
go get your car.
through, the effort that women go through to be ready for a date, to pick out an outfit, to do her makeup, to do her hair, to be presentable, to look hot. Like, the littlest thing, the littlest gestures, it just blows my mind, honestly. He comes and get us, and then the Canadian, when we get to the club, was like, can you please drop us off in front and like come meet us when you get inside the club.
Yeah.
We get into the club right away. The Canadian gets me a drink and his Raya girl, a drink. Okay.
Basically, you're on their date. Now.
I'm on their. I fully hijacked that date. Okay. I fully hijacked that date. And he gets us a drink. He's super nice. And then he comes in and he sees like me, the Canadian, and the Raya date. And instead of coming to me and saying, Alessia, like, I'm ordering a drink, like, what can I get you next? You know, like, because the Canadian just bought me a drink when it like, yeah, he can get it for me, but like, it should be you, you know, kind of thing. He literally like ignores me, goes to the bar, orders himself a drink, then comes and see me and says, this is why people in LA are so broke. It's like 22 US for this tequila drink. 22 US. That's like 35 Canadian for you guys, like for you. And I was like, bro, like, what the hell is going on over here? What the hell is going on over here?
You would think it's like fucking.
I just never thought I would get involved in something like this.
But you would just think it's base knowledge to not complain about. I mean, all of this was base knowledge.
I think when men talk about money on a first date, it's the most disgusting thing ever. And it's actually the most ick thing. I forgot to mention that last week.
It's not even mentionable because it's just so obvious. Like, that's the biggest ick you could ever have. If you're taking someone out, I don't want to hear a word about how expensive something is. Oh my God. Like, that's just so... I don't care if something is literally going to max out my credit card. I will never speak a word of how expensive it is if I'm doing something for someone.
I know.
Like, I'm sorry. It's just, that's literally manners. That's manners. That's minimum class.
I know, Veronica. I know. So after that, it's like, you know what I always feel like when someone like either interrupts, because I even went for dinner at a point with a girlfriend and a guy came and like was talking to us and he's like, I had to come up to you because, sorry, your friend, me, she's so gorgeous and like she can be an actress and like we have a role for her. The most LA thing ever. And like just like bombarding our dinner. I'm like, the amount of times directors, producers must do this, go up to a pretty girl and just, I'm not going to be in no film. You're trying to hit on me. Shut the fuck up. And why are you chilling and interrupting my date if you haven't already decided or ordered us drinks?
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. You're interrupting our time. Where's our drinks? Like, where's the respect if you are going to do that? Or at least offer.
Yeah.
So anyways, I ended up, making out with this guy. In no way should I have made out with him. And in no way, like, did I want to. I think a part of me was just like, we've been talking for so long. Like, let me at least make out with him just to like, for the fucks at this point, you know? But after I did it, I was like, not that the kiss was like bad or anything. It was just like, you did not win my heart enough to even make out with me.
Yeah.
And like, I was really upset with myself. I think it happens normally when you're younger, you know, like you kind of feel like pressured or like, okay, well, it should happen, you know? So like, I did it, but I instantly was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And it's not to say like I don't have a backbone and I'm going to get in a lot of situations like that, because I'm very clear of like, even like when I sleep with someone, like I expect you to like put in effort. I won't necessarily sleep with you on the first date, almost never. Yes, there's a few exceptions to the rules, but like, anyway, so I was just mad at myself for that. I feel like people can relate to that. Sometimes they like sleep with someone early on, or like they make out with someone where they felt like they shouldn't have and they did. And like you don't really have anyone to blame but yourself. But like there was a lot of self-reflecting while I was tanning the next day. I'm like, Alea, like, why did you do it? Can you tell me why I did it?
I think it's just most of it is like we're conditioned to think that if a guy takes us out that we owe them something, and then we feel like even though you hated the date and everything, you don't want to be stuck in the position where like there has to be some kind of like drama after. So you almost feel like it's easier to just like make out with them, give them like a smidge of what they want, and then be like, okay, bye. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's almost like our ticket out of there, which is fucked up if you think about it. Like, you absolutely don't owe it to anyone to do anything. But it's just like, it's just the mindset. And I think it's also the pressure that I feel like most guys put on you, where it's like, if they're taking you out, they expect something.
Yeah.
And when you really had a bad time, you're like, the last thing I want to do is give you anything. So like, the only thing I'm willing to offer is a kiss. You know what I mean? You're like, you're almost like negotiating like what you could get away with, and be like, just like, ugh, I want to get out of this situation. And I think also when you're like blatantly like, don't kiss me, like, bye, it's like very obviously like you're bringing up a conflict on the spot. I know. Like, it's so hard to deal with that on the spot. So like, I 100% get why you did that. There's so many situations where I felt the need to do that because I just didn't know how to get out of it otherwise. And like, that's fucked up. Like, the amount of times that people have like convinced me, or like, you know, put you like in a theoretical corner where you just feel like, my only way out of this is just to give you a little bit, and like, at least I can go, because like, I don't want to be doing any of this, you know?
Yeah.
And it's fucked up. And I don't think it's your fault at all. I think it's actually like the mentality and the pressure.
Fault. It's not his fault either. I think it's more just like, Alessia, you have to know that you don't have to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, it sounds so serious, and it's just a kiss, and it's like, it is whatever. It's just a kiss, but it's like, it's a kiss I shouldn't have done.
Well, it is just a kiss, but I think anything that you do without wanting to do it feels like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Even if it's like holding hands with somebody, it's just holding hands. But like, if it's somebody you do not want to even be touching, it's like, feels like the most like horrible thing in the world. You know what I mean? I think it's just more so about the intention rather than what it actually is.
Yeah.
Because whether it's a kiss, whether you slept with him, whether it's whatever, doing something without wanting to do it, just at 10 out of 10 times feels horrible.
He had messaged me the next day to be like, last night was so fun, which is like the polite thing to say. I didn't have it in me to answer. I don't know. Maybe it's because I was mad at myself that I made out with him. Maybe it was the fact that I was disappointed in the fact that he wasn't who I thought he was. I don't know what it is. And maybe that's disrespectful on my part for not answering. But I was just like, get away. Look, I could have just been like, thanks so much. Was so much fun. I don't think it would have changed much. But I just was like, I don't know. I just didn't respond. So that's first date. That ends. And it was nice to put that to rest, honestly, to be like, you know what? Like, no. And the second date I go on is this NFL player. Okay. 6'8". Okay. 6'8". I've never been on a date with a guy who's 6'8". Do you guys know what that is? That's like you're going through a door and you're bending.
That's crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I felt next to him like a little shrimp on my highest heels. Insane. Like, damn, you know, like very hot. So
you're like new standard.
But now I'm at this, guys, just understand the energy after all that happened with the first date. I'm like, cut to the bullshit. I don't want to go on this date. I'd rather go eat alone. I'd rather like go out with a girlfriend than go on a date that I'm not going to have fun with and I'm going to be mad at myself for doing. So I was like, straight up, like the date was going to be in like 2 hours. I was like, yeah, what are you doing right now? Just FaceTime me. I'm literally like chill, barely any makeup. I have nothing to prove at this point. I'm just like wearing a cap, coming from the pool. I'm like, FaceTime me. Let's see if we vibe. It's just like constant banter. He's like super chill. He's like, what are your intentions? Why are you on Raya? When was your last relationship? What do you want out of this? Like straight up. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just here to vibe. Like, when was the last time you had sex? I was like months ago. Like I wasn't here saying like 2 weeks ago. Like it's been months.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was so honest. It flowed. We're making jokes. It was so easy. He's like, we're doing a chill day, like dress casual. We're just gonna go get Thai food and like we'll just like vibe. He picks me up very, very comfortable in his skin, relaxed. Like I felt like I've known him my entire life. Mm-hmm. Like it was just because we did that FaceTime. I was like, I'm okay going on a date with you because I feel like I know you and like there's no like whatever. So we go out for food. It's super, super casual. Normally I'm somebody who likes to be like impressed, but like he had nothing to prove and it was very chill and like it was nice. It was a very LA thing to do, I think. Like just go to like for Thai food, whatever. So after that, he's like, okay, like what do you want to do now? And I was like, I don't know, like what do you want to do? And he was like, well, you know, he's like, so I don't really drink. And I was like, okay, so like what do you want to do? And then I'm like, do you want to go for dessert? Like, I'm just like, I'm helping him out and be like, okay, what do you want to do? And like, it was really clear, like, what he wanted to do was fuck. But like, I was like, that wasn't even an option, you know? So I was just like, do you want to do dessert? Like, what do you want to do? And then he was like, I'm thinking. So we're driving. And then there's a comedy club, like, right next to where I am. He's like, yeah, but then it sucks. Like, we're not going to be able to talk. So I'm like, you don't want to do dessert? You're giving me a hard time now. Like, everything was super chill, you know?
Yeah.
And then it felt like, okay, what are we going to do? Finally, we go to the comedy club. And then we're, like, in the back of the comedy club. And whatever, we start making out. And, like, things got a little bit heated. Like, whatever. But then that was it for me. I was, like, had so much fun with him. Would definitely see him again. Like, my rule of like, I'm not sleeping with you on a first date still stands. Like I had fun. Like we made out. He like into him. Yeah. Like cool. We like, he's hilarious. Like it was fun. So now he's like, the comedy club is like literally right next to my hotel. So he's walking to me in my hotel and then he's like walking with me. And I was like, oh, like, no, like you're not coming up. And I thought like I was very clear with my intentions because we had the FaceTime before where I was like, if you know I haven't had sex like recently, you know that I don't just kind of fuck around. So I was like, okay. He's like, no, like I'm not expecting to have sex with you. Like I don't even have a condom. Like I just like, you know, we can do everything else. And I was like, no, you're not coming up. And then he was just like, his whole vibe of being so chill like changed. He literally kisses me and he's like, okay, bye. And like leaves like bitter, like so angry. Okay. Like just like so angry. Gets in his car and then I get to my hotel and I was just like, oh, happy I saw that now. Dodged another bullet. Thank God. Oh see you later. Like then he texts me when I'm in my hotel like 5 minutes later. I thought you weren't about rules. Because I'm like, I always say I'm so spontaneous. Like I don't really have rules. But like, yeah, when it comes to like having sex, like it's a little bit of a rule of mine that I don't look. There's always exceptions to the rules, but it's not something I'm like, you know? And then it just made me think like, is this a thing in LA? Like, are people just like, you know how we spoke about in the last episode about like hookup culture? Mm-hmm. It kind of is hard when you're not somebody who wants to do that, but like maybe that's like the standard there in LA or like just like what he's been used to, I guess. So like he just got rejected in a way. So it kind of feels like I essentially made him mad because I didn't give in to something that like he could have easily got from like God knows who else because he's good looking, he's tall, you know, like so I was just like, oh, like happy that's done. Okay. So when he said thought you weren't about rules, I was like, I just hearted the message, didn't even answer. I'm like, don't fuck with me, don't try and manipulate me. That's not how you get a girl to sleep with, you know?
Oh my God, the way you get a girl to sleep with you is by saying I don't want to sleep with you.
Exactly.
Then she goes, what do you mean you don't want to sleep with me? What do you mean? I'll show you exactly how good it is to sleep with me.
Yeah, legs wide open. Straight up, honestly. So I just hearted it, and then he hearted the message back. I'm like, go fuck yourself. Next day I wake up, because we started on Insta message, he deleted everything. So I'm just having a conversation with myself, trying to save himself because I have a podcast. First of all, I would never air you out, like, you know? And then he was making jokes. He's like, should I bring my NDA to sign? Because he said, are you going to talk about me on your podcast? This one, the day was going good.
Yeah.
I'm like, I only talk about people I care about. So I was making a joke, you know, like, relax there, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm like, unless you do something fucked up, then maybe.
Well,
that's what I said.
Won you a place on the podcast.
So that's why I guess he woke up the next day and was like, delete. So that was that. I was like, okay, on to the next. Like, I am literally a serial dater. Like, it's like every other date I go on, I'm just even more like, tell me about yourself. Like, it becomes like, it's like anything you do, whenever you do a lot of it.
Yeah.
You just like, you cut the bullshit.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, he was like, but like, you're only in LA for a little bit of time. So like, what did you expect?
When you guys were like in the hotel, like when he was like trying to come in?
Which like is trying to say like, obviously, like I wouldn't take you serious. Obviously, I wouldn't date you. You're not from here. Type thing. So like, I'm supposed to give in because I don't live there. So like, you know?
So like, I'm only good for sex, basically.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I have a good guy friend that I know in LA. And then the next day, like he came to town with me by the pool. And I was telling him about the date from a guy's perspective. He's like, but Ale, like, what did you expect? You don't live here. And he said the same thing he said. And I was like, I'm like, okay, let's like dive into that. Yeah. I just think whenever a guy says that, it's just like a poor mentality. Because it's like, realistically, any girl you like, any person you want to make it work with that you think is special, you will move mountains for. That's what I say. If a guy wants to, he will. So it's like, if already he's seeing this as like a financial like exchange, or like it's gonna, oh my God, like you don't live here, like not willing to put in the effort to make it work, then you were never going to take me serious. And like, I don't think that every guy is like that. I think that some guys will put in the effort to make it work, to fly you out if they were vibing with you, if they liked you, if they saw something in you that they didn't see in somebody who lived in their city. Or like, when you find something good, why would you give it away just because of distance? I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. I just think for the most part, when people are traveling, they're tend to not be looking for relationships.
Right. That's not where I am in my life. And I made that clear. I was like, look, like I'm just going with the flow, which I am. I'm not meeting someone putting a gun to their head and saying like,
marry me.
Marry me. Like I'm trying to get your visa.
Yeah. Wouldn't hurt.
So yeah, so that was that. That was that date, okay?
So also scrap that one.
Also scrap that one, okay? Now I'm going on this date now. Third one, guys. I'm like, what? Like, I was planning on canceling this one. I'm like, what am I doing? Okay? And believe it or not, in the past, I think I would do a lot more research on who someone was. And now I'm just like, let them like prove to me who they are. I don't want to look so in depth. Like I see like a little bit, but I used to do a lot more research. Like the NFL player, like, the next day I was like, why would he delete all messages? And I'm going into like his dating history. Like, who is he? You know, because I was like, I was confused as to like, you know what I mean? I was like, do I not know who I'm going on dates with? Like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
So this third person, he lived there and he was like doing everything right. Like, I'll pick you up at this time. We're going here. It was a bumping spot. So I was already like, okay, you're matching my energy a lot more. When I'm going down on a guy, I don't ask for much. We as girls don't ask for much, except for like, you know, a good sized dick, maybe circumcised if it's, you know, me who's asking, and to be, you know, groomed down there. I'm not asking for fully bald, but like it's got to be trimmed. Yeah. And what are you going to use when you're trimming your balls?
Well, they're not my balls, but when they're trimming their balls,
Veronica,
hopefully
they're your balls.
They're my balls. Hopefully they're using Manscaped, because Manscaped is the best in below the waist grooming for men. So you need to head on to Manscaped and check out all the products that they have to keep you trimmed, nice, smelling good, feeling soft, and just, you know, giving that girl a nice little landing strip to where you want her to go.
So use our discount code ChemicalX at checkout to receive 20% off anything on Manscaped. And we're also giving you free shipping. So we're basically just making it easier for you to get laid.
You're welcome.
At this point, I'm just like at a stage where I'm like a lot more loose. I'm ready to drink. And like, that's also dangerous too. Cause you're like drinking, like it's not good when you get sloshed on a date. It's just not it. And I'm mad at myself for that. That last one that was the best one, I drank a lot.
I mean, you either drink when you're comfortable or you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And both of those are a recipe for disaster.
And you know what it is? It's like when you're drinking dirty martinis and you're just sitting at a table, you never feel how drunk you are when the vodka hits because you're sitting the whole time. You're chatting. And I remember a point when it's like it was time to get up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, fuck. Like,
yeah.
I'm wasted.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking drunk.
And also on a date, you never eat that much. Like, you always kind of like
Veronica,
there's so much
I was
talking.
starving, but like
Yeah.
there's so much talking. You like grab a sushi, you're like, this is so good.
Like,
And then
no one's having like a fucking full blown meal. You know what I mean?
facts. Literally facts. So yeah, so everything goes good. So nice, complimenting me. After we get in the car, and I remember like we're just driving and we're going to Soho, and he's like, you know, like I really wanted to just like kiss you in the restaurant. And I was like, well, why didn't you? And like we're driving right now. We're not even like at a light or anything.
Why is that like?
And then it's like, he's like, okay, well, I have to do it right now while I'm driving. So don't we start making out while we're in the car driving? I don't know if I was drunk at this point. I don't know if he like fully stopped, but it was just like vibes.
Well, it's always vibes when you're about to lose your life. I don't know.
Ubers don't want to get into,
But kiss me while you're driving.
am I condoning drinking and driving? I don't know how well this is sounding right now. But I was just mad at myself a little bit because on the date I felt like I drank a lot, and you know when it's so hard to be who you actually are because you're drinking, so like you're a bit slower in your speech. Yeah. You might have said things that you're like, why did I say that? Like it's a little bit harder. So I was like, Alette, like you need to when we got up, I was like, you need to stop.
Yeah.
I remember feeling like, oh fuck, like you know that feeling when you get too drunk and you're like, fuck my life.
But
like,
you know what? That feeling lasts 4 seconds and then you're back into like,
yeah, and you think you look
you
so
think
hot.
you look so good. You think everything you're saying is so smooth.
I
so
said
fun.
things that I shouldn't have probably said. Like, I want to die. Like, I'm here condoning, don't do this, don't do that. But when I drink, like, I told the guy about my bad date experience. Like, I did things that it's like, Alette, don't say that shit, you know? But it's like, whatever.
But I also think, like, again, it's really hard to live life by rules. Like,
I
sometimes it's just like
know.
you literally had fun. You had a great time. Like, okay, so you got a little drunk. Like, every date, there's always going to be something that doesn't really go as you planned it to, because you cannot plan out life. Like, it just happens. So if it was fun and you vibed and you got drunk, like, so be it.
I know. So then,
even though it's not what we recommend, you know what I mean? I think
know.
it's still just what it is.
I know. And then whenever we went to Soho, we're drinking more. And now I'm like, I feel like I'm more drunk than him. So I was like, I need to stop. I can't drink another fucking martini right now. And then like, I see him like his drink is like dropping and stuff. I'm like, good. It looks like he's a little bit drunk too. Don't remember this fully, you know, like please be on the same wavelength.
Maybe take 2 shots.
100%. So then after that, he's like, look, like, I don't want to be impolite, but like, it'd be fun if we still chilled. Like, if you want to come to my place, like, and I was like, yeah, like straight up, I was like, yeah. And that's the thing when you're like,
the 2 other guys are going, what's this easy peasy, easy going girl?
So I was just like, yeah, like in my head, I was like, whatever, like vibes are there. He was saying like, he just seemed like a normal guy. Like, I was just like, oh, like finally I'm being treated the way like I normally expect to. And like, so it's just like, because you weren't forcing me to sleep with you and because you were such a vibe. Yeah, I'll come over. Yeah. Perfect. And it's not to say like every guy who shows me that is going to get that. But 100%. Like, do I think that it was expedited because of previous like dates? Maybe a little. So yeah, it was just like the vibes. I was like, yeah, I came over. You know, we hooked up. Yeah, we had sex.
Why does I feel like this is a sex ed class? We had sex.
I was mad at myself for sure for doing it. I was drunk. It was the vibes. I had fun. He had fun. It is what it is. Yeah. We did. Am I mad that like maybe now he might look at me in the way of like I do this all the time? Maybe. But it's like at the end of the day, like whatever. It is what it is. Yeah. Like it is what it is. I can't control it. You know, like.
I mean, I think it's just like when you have fun and the vibes are there, there's no rule that'll tell you what to do and not to do. You just have to like, oh shit. You just have to kind of like go with your instincts. And the reality is like the right guy is not going to be like, oh, suddenly your value is at 0 because you agreed to sleep with me when I asked. Like, I'm sorry, but like,
I know you just say that, but I feel like they don't respect you as much.
I don't agree. There's been people that I've slept with on the first date that fell in love with me. Right. That I ended up dating actually.
Okay. I know.
So it's just like, there's no.
I think I have this like idea that like,
I just think somebody that's going to put all your value in that one thing is not somebody you want to be with.
Anyways.
Yeah. Like, it's like, if you can't see that I'm actually a really amazing person and you're only going to overshadow the fact that like, and you know what pisses me off is that guys will try with you and try with you and try with you. But if you give in, it's like, oh, look, oh, you gave in. Oh, it's done. Haha. Like, that's like jokes on you. It's almost like it's like a prank. It's almost like I'm gonna taunt you until you do it and then be like, haha.
I know.
You fucked up. But like the reality is like an actual mature guy and actually I feel like you're a loser if you still believe like I'm not gonna respect you the same. If you felt the vibes too, like as you always say, it takes two to tango. Like we didn't get here just because of me. Like we had a good time. It was fun. We both had fun. Like if I would ever be with someone who would look at me differently because we hooked up on the first night and it was amazing and we had a good time, I would be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, sorry, did you have a different experience than me? Did we not have fun? Okay, so then
you're absolutely right.
You know what I mean? Like I just don't feel like it's always black and white. I don't feel like it's always like, oh yeah, no,
for sure,
I lost him.
You're absolutely right. You know what? And it's like if this ended here and like that's it, then that's totally fine too. You know what I mean?
And the reality is, if you felt like the vibes enough to even do that, he's probably not that type of guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you can kind of sense that. Like, think of the first two guys. You were like, no, because the vibes were all wrong. And even the second guy you had fun with, but you still were like,
the vibes were there with the second guy. But it's just like, it's the way you communicate. It's the way you deliver, ask, the pettiness, like, this is when I want to say, like, good guys finish first.
Yeah.
In a situation where a girl is, like, mature enough to be like, I know what I want, and, like, you are a vibe and like you are being super respectful, you are attentive, like play your cards right and you actually might get laid on a first date.
Yeah. And I think the most important thing is like if you react the same way to me saying no as you would if me saying yes, that's a green flag. Because it's like if I say yes, you're all happy jolly, but it's like as soon as I say no, it's like, whoa, what the fuck? Energy changes. Like no. And it's like I can imagine that with this guy that you had a good time with. I can imagine if you were like, no, like I'm actually not down. No, like I'm sure he would have been.
That
like,
is exactly. I'm gonna be honest. That is exactly why I went, because I didn't feel like I had to. It was very like I can drop you off, or like if you want to.
Exactly. When you're not forced into something,
you will do something.
You will make the decision on your own to do what you want to do.
Yes.
When someone puts you in a corner and says like this is the only option that is not gonna get us into a fight, you tend to not go that way because you're like, yo, what the fuck?
Fucking facts.
You know what I mean? Like I just think somebody who's so chill about it actually makes you want to do more. And that's why it's always like when you have to like ask someone to sleep with you and you have to force it, like you're losing. Like you're fucking losing.
Yeah.
You know? Be fucking chill. Be just as okay with not sleeping with me as you would be with sleeping with me. And I promise you the chances of you actually sleeping with me skyrocket.
100%.
Because when you make it feel like it's this or that, you're like, whoa, it's the last thing I want to do is sleep with you. Now it's no longer my decision. And that's the biggest thing about making a girl comfortable is everything has to feel like it's our decision. So if you do something, even in the slightest bit,
listen to Veronica.
Even in the slightest bit that makes me feel like it's no longer my decision and I feel like I have to do something. You lost control
almost in a way.
Yeah, and like I have to do something just to whatever, just to even it out, just to something. Suddenly I'm so turned off. But if you make me feel like it's always up to me and no matter what I choose, it's all good. Yeah, it's the best day ever. Niagara Falls, let's go.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like that's the hottest thing.
Yeah.
That's the sexiest thing you could do.
Yeah.
So guys, take fucking notes because I would say, I would honestly bet that 80% of guys go the route of like, well, like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get why you wouldn't want to. Like, what? This is like a rule of yours.
And somebody who's like cheap with their time and cheap with like dating you and taking you out will reflect.
Yeah, you know, because they're like, gonna want the exchange.
Like they're gonna want the exchange, and it's like people who actually like value going on a date with you are not looking at it like, oh, I spent money on a date to see this girl. Yeah. Like she better give me sex in return. It's like it's not how it works with like mature men who like make their own money. They have respect. They have class. Like. It's just
going on a date
different.
Is not an exchange of you pay for my dinner and I sleep with you.
It's just not. It's not. And like it hasn't really fully been my experience, but like for me to talk about like LA, I've noticed that pattern a lot.
I think it also depends on the place too. Like obviously every city has their like different ways of doing things, and you know, you go into a new place, you don't know what kind of like their standards are, especially LA being a place that's so much of LA is based off of like transaction. Like
Yeah.
LA is very transactional in general, whether it's through friendships, whether it's relationships, whether it's business, like it's always transactional. So I'm guessing that just reflects even more when it comes to dating. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm going to do something for you, you're going to do something for me. So if I'm taking you out for dinner, like, you better sleep with me.
For sure. And like, I think with the last date I went on, I was kind of just like, I don't know, like I felt stupid to be like, is everyone in LA like this? You know, like I felt like when I was drunk, I was really like speaking my mind. And he's like, no, like it's like, I don't know, like I was born and raised in LA and like it's not like that. Like, I'm sorry you had bad experiences. And I was really like, it's so fucking true though. It's like normally it happens with the people who like weren't born in LA and like are going to LA to be someone, where I feel like there's a lot more of like transaction going on versus somebody who like lived there their whole life. So like there was definitely a difference in like somebody who's grew up there and then who, like, I don't want to talk for everyone, but like that's just been my experience and the people I
For sure.
met.
I mean, it makes sense. Even if it was just a simple plan, you know what I mean? Simple plan. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like when it starts not going to the plan you invented, then you're already disappointed.
Yeah.
So it's all those little things that play into like how you feel at the end of the date. And that's why it's nice sometimes to do something that, you know, you give it a chance. You're not so invested in it. You're just like, whatever, we'll see. No expectations. And that's always the best outcome.
Yeah. I have to say though, I do enjoy dating though. I really enjoy it. It could get exhausting for sure. Like when you're on a streak of like bad dates, you're like, is it me? Like what's going on? Like, is it bad for me to be going on dates and like not expecting to sleep with someone? Should I just like not go on dates? No. You know, like
in fair thought process.
You know, like I was just like, maybe if that's what people are going to be expecting from me, maybe this is not what I should be doing because I'm trying to have like a genuine like vibe.
Insane that's even something to think.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been my experience.
Interesting thought. I wonder what you guys think. Should you go on dates if you're actually looking for a genuine relationship and you're not just looking to hook up with people? Because I still think you should. I think that's how you get to know people. But right now I feel like we're at this point where it's like dating is seen as like you're going to date someone and to fuck them. So it's like, how do you then get into a relationship then?
It's very interesting.
You know,
it's very
really
like
tough.
It's really tough, honestly.
Like when you're made to feel guilty for going on dates, like, well, if you're gonna go on a date, you better.
I started to feel like that.
Yeah, it's insane. And I really like don't agree with that. I think dating is actually the way you get into relationships. If that's what, you know, what's so fucked up is dating is meant, the root of dating is meant for people who are actually looking for something more. So I want to know at what point dates started becoming an exchange for let's fuck. In like, I feel like
it's like, let me impress you in order to just get to sleep with you. And it's like dating should be like, let's see. Like it's basically like you're going for a job interview and it's like, let's see if you meet a lot of the criteria that I'm looking for in a partner.
Like if you're just looking for sex, why are you even wasting all your time getting to know me? I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about the time it takes to actually get to know me and to just speak with me. Like, I don't understand. I feel like in the past it used to be like, if you wanted to hook up, you didn't go on dates. You found you went out. You went out clubbing. You went out to bars. You found people to hook up with because that's where you go to hook up. But if you're going on dates and putting in effort and getting to know me, I actually think it's more weird that you're looking for sex out of this and not a relationship than the opposite. Like, it's like we're literally doing this.
But then do you think that they're doing that because women need to feel like they were wined and dined in order for their legs to open?
Yeah, but that's a dishonest thing at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I don't agree with it. I'm just saying, like, I think that that's why sometimes men will do the date even if they don't want to.
For sure. It's like a sales tactic, essentially, what they're doing. It's a sales tactic.
It's like, let me impress you in order for you to buy my product.
But the reality is like, it's a sales tactic, and if I call you out on your bullshit, don't fucking turn it around on me and be like, "Whoa, what did you expect?" No. What did you expect, actually?
Like, you're actually coming on the date, and I'm trying to see if I'm even interested in this product.
Yeah.
I don't have to sign today for the product if I'm not sure I want it.
But it's just like,
that was funny.
But like the reality is you're the one doing dates wrong. Like, why are you turning this on me as if I'm the one who's like, what did you expect coming on a date without wanting to sleep with me? Like, no. What did you expect coming on a date?
We're on that second one. That second one we really didn't like, but the first one was really the worst. You know what? First and second were both bad on different like levels.
Yeah. I think
first one though, nightmares.
I think there's something about like when someone like puts pressure on me like that. It doesn't matter that it could have been the sickest date in the world. I will never want to see you again, and it actually will ruin the entire night if you just do that one thing.
Veronica,
ruins everything.
100%. And I think the NFL player, I think he's not used to getting said no to. You could tell. Like, the way he acted was so childish. It's like
embarrassing. Well, so you're taking a break from LA for a while?
No, I actually genuinely like love LA.
It left off on a good note.
I love LA and I would definitely go back. I don't know. There's something about traveling alone and just doing what you want to do. Very chill. Yeah, I would love to go with like girlfriends the next time again. But I don't know. We'll see. Like, very spontaneous. You never know.
Yeah. Well, cheers to
you guys love story. You guys love story time. So I hope me sounding like a fucking whore this episode. I went on this date and this date and this date.
Thank you so much for listening to
Alessia's podcast.
This is actually how we explain that, I'm no longer on the podcast because I didn't make an appearance on this one. But don't worry, I'll be back
Veronica's
next week.
in a relationship now. If I don't pull through with the stories, this podcast goes what? This way? Just kidding.
I have some stories of my own. Root.
You have some?
Maybe.
Guys, next episode, Veronica's coming clean with some stuff, so get ready.
I'm going to pull out my notebook. Date number 1.
Date number 1 that ended up being in a relationship.
Crazy, eh?
Next episode, you think?
Listen.
Look at her smirking.
Think about it.
There must be something so nice, though, about keeping your life private for a little
100%.
bit. You know?
Mm-hmm. Well, I just think it's nice to keep your life private when it's about things that matter.
Yeah.
Not that those people didn't matter. It's just like, it's so much easier to like talk about things when like, it's not that deep.
It's really, really hard because there's such an in-between of like people wanting transparency and like feeling like they're related to you versus like wanting a part of your life that's just actually for you. And like sometimes not having outside noise and just being able to be like, do I like this person? Like I will want to see this through, and I don't want to put someone on social media and go through this whole thing again if I don't think it's actually someone I see myself spending like a life with, it's like kind of protecting you from like actually seeing what you like versus like what people will tell you.
For sure. So. And I think like as much as we say like, oh, I don't care what people think, like we always care what people think at the end of the day. And I just don't care to have other people's opinions involved in my life on certain topics.
Yeah. But but over time you will discuss more.
For sure. Sure.
I think I just gave people like a little teaser.
Yeah, they're like, excuse me, you can't just end on that. Anyways, bye.
Bye guys, we love you.
Love ya. See you next week. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below.